Fatality. Welcome to the Bad Reading Podcast. I am your host, Atlas Novak, and my guest today, you have seen her on the Eargasm Podcast. Give it up for Alexa Irizarry, everybody.
Hi, I'm super excited to be here.
Oh, yeah.
Ready to get finished.
If you haven't figured it out by now, or by the thumbnail, or by the title, we're doing Mortal Kombat today as the fanfic of choice. Or did you play the Mortal Kombat games growing up?
Yeah, like I used to play them all the time with my dad, and it's weird, like a cultural thing I'm noticing because I'm transgender. So like, I notice every other trans woman that I talk to who has played Mortal Kombat, their favorite character is Melina. Every single one, and my favorite character was Melina. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, oh my goodness, someone with like ridiculous curves, big boobs, and a very surgically altered face. That's basically every trans woman on the planet.
I should. So my co-host, who's currently on leave, Chris, is gender non-binary, and I should ask them who their favorite Mortal Kombat character is, because maybe there's something there. Like if you're somewhere on the gender spectrum.
Maybe. I mean, trans women that I know, we all switched to Devora now that Melina got killed off.
What, did they like, you can't play as her anymore? Or
yeah, she got killed off in 10 and then 11 because her face got eaten by Devora. She like sent her like crabs out of her mouth and was like, it was weird. They like kiss.
Yeah.
But then before kisses someone, like bugs come out of her mouth and ate her face. So now they can't play as Melina anymore. They all switched to Devora.
So there's like a canon fatality.
Yeah, I was kind of upset by that because they brought everyone else back, in the one. But I was like, oh, they didn't bring Melina back. That's kind of.
I don't know. I was never really much of a Mortal Kombat guy. I just played Super Smash Bros. Growing up. That was my game, my fighting game of choice.
Well, were you like a Nintendo or were you a PlayStation person?
I was a Nintendo kid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. Mortal Kombat, I don't think was ever as good as like. I think I played one game on the GameCube, and I didn't like it.
I know that, like, I had to wear my parents down to get a GameCube. It took, like, literally years. So I ended up getting a GameCube, I think, in the last, like, 2 years of the console's lifespan, and then the Wii was coming out, and I was like, damn it.
I mean, is Mortal Kombat on the Wii? Because I feel like it would be fun, because then you can actually, like...
I don't know. I know that, like, they had Smash Bros. On the Wii, and that really didn't work out. Because, like, it's not motion controlled for the most part. It's, it was either you have the Wiimote and Nunchuck, which was, like, kind of like having a regular controller. It was just separated. Or you had to take the Wiimote and turn it on its side, which was awful because everything was so compressed that, like, your hands would be hitting all the wrong buttons. And then because it's a fighting game, you need, like, precision to really...
Yeah. True, because the only game I ever played on the Wii was, like, the bowling one, and I feel like I used to have to, like, move my hand.
See, like, that had, like, a motion component to it, though. Or, like, if you ever played Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, where it was, like, 1-to-1 sword combat, that was pretty cool.
No, I have not. I heard Link is non-binary, though.
I could definitely see that.
Because I've been told Link is not a boy.
I don't know. It's implied that he's a boy, but you don't really see a lot of, like, references to his gender. It's just, like, the young hero who has to do X thing.
Maybe that could have been a girl cosplaying, but, like, someone told me, like, Link was a girl, and I was like, oh.
Well, I don't know. Listeners, I would recommend checking out our Legend of Zelda episode, because that was a fun one. But this story that I have for you today, I found on fanfiction.net. It is by someone named Theodore Barrington. The link to the story will be in the show notes, both to give the artist credit and if you would like to go read the story yourself. The description of the story is, so this is a crossover between Mortal Kombat and Super Smash Bros. Feel free to review and let me know what you think. So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. Master Hand sighed and plonked unceremoniously on his throne, which was difficult as he had no actual backside to sit down with. It had been one hell of a day at Smash Mansion. Firstly, King DDD had gotten stuck chasing Mario and Luigi down a pipe. Then he had to deal with Meta Knight and Wolf chasing Yoshi with their laser guns. Kirby was attempting to eat Olimar's Pikmin, and Bowser kept trying to set everything on fire. And
wait. So, like, all this, like, do they live together in the game? Because I'm not as familiar with that. Or is this kind of like a, real world scenario where they just shoved all of them in the same house?
It's not really. I don't think there's really like a canon reason why they would be fighting. There's a very famous video by Game Theory, the YouTuber, Matt Pat's Game Theory, that the world of Super Smash Brothers is an autistic kid playing in his room with Nintendo action figures. Because at the beginning of the first one, you see like a hand pick everything up and move everything around. And it's like, this is the only community he ever knew. I'm like, can I just play my stupid video game, please? I just want Kirby to beat the shit out of Fox on Hyrule Temple. That's all I want. I don't need, like, a canon reason why they would be fighting. Fine. Fine. Whatever.
Like, Smash Mansion, though. Like,
Smash? Yeah. That implies it's, like, a reality show.
Right? Like, I would watch that. Like, I think they should make a version of Super Smash Brothers where it's, like, characters from MTV reality shows.
What, so you have, like, The Bachelor and somebody from Big Brother, Survivor. That's not MTV, but...
Snooki, would just, pump, in there knocking each other off the mansion. I'd watch that.
What would be Snooki's final smash?
She's throwing a drink, I think. I think throwing a drink would be most of their final smashes.
Makes sense. Well, where it's like a giant martini glass and just...
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite thing about games like that is it's just like you get to find out who would win in a fight instead of arguing with your friends forever.
Yeah. I think a lot of these games are kind of really diving into that, because with the downloadable content, most of them are weird characters. I know Mortal Kombat has switched to it's Predator, Alien.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can download Freddy, Jason's a DLC.
That's so cool.
They should have Trump and Biden be downloadable characters.
Yeah, that's a little we're recording this on election day. To the people listening to this on the Friday when this normally comes out, it's probably going to be like, yeah, so either we have a lot of work to do or fascism won. So I'm not really sure how to feel about that statement. But
Bernie Sanders comes in with the metal chair at the end. Oh my God, Donald Trump!
I'm going to hit him with the chair. It's going to be bigly. And it wasn't even time for breakfast yet. Crazy Hand floated into the office, pet seal in tow. Bro, bit of a problem. You know that huge vase you got for your birthday last week? The green one that's standing at the top of the master staircase? Or I think it was standing at the top of the master staircase. What did you do this time, Crazy? Well, I was trying to teach Mr. Flippers to catch a frisbee while humming Danny Boy, while jumping through a ring of fire. Things sort of got out of control. Crazy! The left hand screamed out of the room as Master Hand fired laser beams at him. Okay. So, I guess, A, the hands can talk to each other.
Wait, is Master Hand a character?
So, you know how in Super Smash Bros., after you finish Classic Mode, there's that hand that comes down and you gotta fight him?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's Master Hand. And then there's Crazy Hand, which is the left hand, and he's, doing weird stuff, constantly moving his hand around and, dropping bombs. And, Master Hand is, the laser, and then they'll, sweep the stage, that kind of thing.
I mean, that does go with the theory that it's, some kid playing with the toys in the room.
Yeah. After an uneventful breakfast, if you didn't count Toon Link accidentally dropping a bomb in the porridge, the Smashers lined up in the auditorium while Master Hand addressed them. All right, ladies and gents, Pokemon and other unidentifiable beings. At this, Kirby beamed and waved. Now, as all of you know, of late we have all been very busy, especially with the looming deadline of our latest televised event, Super Smash Bash. Everyone murmured in agreement. Well, today, we have one match, and I'll be going on leave for the next week. During this time, Crazy Hand will be in charge, that is all. Master Hand floated off, ignoring the cries of Botest. Ay-ya! Groaned Marth. Not Crazy Hand! He's insane, agreed Ike. But what are you gonna do? Asked Luigi. We don't party like this, so what we wanna gonna do, replied his cousin Wario. One of the Rob units came in and placed a notice on the bulletin board. Today's match, Mario and Wario versus Luigi and Yoshi. Luigi's eyes widened as he read the matchup. Hey, Mario, he said, how come we're not on the same team? Mario just shrugged. He wasn't thrilled that he had to team up with his obnoxious cousin, but anything was better than being paired with his loser brother. Lately, Luigi had become very whiny. Wario slapped the plumber on the back. Hey, cuz, we gonna beat up some pansies, eh? Yeah, sure thing.
I've been thinking, because this is the year 2020 of our Lord and Savior, has anyone tried to cancel, Mario and Luigi yet for being, the most stereotypical Italian people on the planet?
I don't think so. I mean, the thing is, Charles Martinet has been voicing Mario and Luigi literally for 20 years at this point. I don't think it's really cultural appropriation if they're Italian.
I mean, they are one step away from having their super move being shooting meatballs at each other.
Oh, sure. But
wait, do they actually? Is that their super move?
No. They do shoot fireballs at each other, so that's close. I think they changed Luigi's final smash to be the vacuum thing that he has from Luigi's Mansion.
Bummer with a mansion. I want to live in that world.
What, when it's full of ghosts?
Oh, yeah.
I just think it's funny that during Luigi's Mansion, the entirety of the game is spent, sucking up ghosts from this, house, but he's humming the theme song of the entire thing the entire time. It's Luigi walking around going nervously for the whole game. Which, that would be super weird. Imagine if, you were watching Jurassic Park, and then everyone's walking around going da 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 da, while the movie is going
on. That would be quite the sight. I want to know why has anyone made an actual haunted house yet, Mario themed? Because Halloween just happened, so has anyone done that yet? A Mario themed haunted house? If so, why has no one done that yet?
I'm sure they had, especially after Luigi's Mansion came out, they had to have done it. I'm not entirely sure though. Maybe that's something that it seems like the kind of thing of some small town in the Midwest, that's their big attraction. Every Halloween we have the Mario haunted house that people come from miles around to go see, or it just seems like a very specific tourist trap.
Well, I live in Ohio, so I know what my next business is going to be.
Where in Ohio do you live?
I live in Cleveland, so I'm not super small town Midwest, but you drive 10 minutes from where I live, it's corn. Just corn.
Well, I hope you voted.
Yeah, it's I did my early ballot, and I was just okay, let's hope.
What is your opinion of the movie Major League, by the way?
Major League? Which one is that?
That's the one with Charlie Sheen and Wesley Snipes and Tom Berenger, where it's the Cleveland Indians, and then they suck, and the owner of the team tries to get all these players that suck on paper, and then it turns out they're really good. They just needed a little work. Charlie Sheen is an ex-con who has 100-mile-an-hour fastball, but it's super inaccurate, and then it turns out he just needs glasses.
I have never seen that movie, but
it is a classic.
That is, I think we kind of do that in Cleveland, though, with all our sports teams, because, we fire our coaches But it's like we fire them after a year, so it's like maybe they could have made the team better if you gave them like another year. Like we're about to probably fire the Browns one again.
Well, I mean, when were the Browns last good? Like the '60s?
Yeah, yeah. Cleveland Indians made a comeback. Cavs were good for a little bit.
Yeah. And then there was that guy who did the like Cleveland tourism videos.
Yeah, at least not Detroit.
Yeah, that guy. And then he did like a third one like a year ago or something. Or the I want to say like the Indians had him like during their playoff run as like a color commentator or something.
But like yeah, Cleveland had a little bit where we were like up again.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like we just went right back down.
What happened exactly?
I think LeBron James left.
Mm.
LeBron James left. Our sports teams like stopped being good for a little bit again. And I think a lot of like that, like LeBron being here brought in a lot of tourism, so they were like attempting to make like Cleveland nicer again. Like they redid the flats and everything, but then when we stopped getting a lot of those like out of town tourists again, like there's really, I mean, we have the Rock Hall, the Football Hall of Fame's like pretty close by, but other than that, I mean, there's really nothing to see in Cleveland. So, and then we have like such cold, bitter, cold weather that like these outdoor bar attractions and like night on the town, they're only good like a few months out of the year.
Gotcha. Yeah, I feel like I take LA for granted in that sort of sense because like for us, cold is like in the 50s.
Oh yeah, 40 here. I'm walking around without a coat.
Yeah, it was like 60 when I went outside this morning. I was like, I need a hoodie. It's so cold.
Yeah, it's like everyone in California and stuff when the lockdowns, like I'll see people on Instagram, they're like, I have to stay in my house. I've stayed in my house since March. I was like, come to Ohio. We don't leave our house from like September to June. If we're like snowed in till then.
Makes sense. I don't know because like I've been skiing a bunch of times and like if I'm dressed for it, I'm like good with the cold weather. Because I can always add more layers. I can't go outside naked.
Yeah, for us, it's kind of just the lake. We get the lake effect, so we get the like, especially where I live, we get the wind hitting us, and it feels a lot colder than it is.
Makes sense. Let's see. No sooner had the match ended, Master Hand was off without so much as a goodbye, leaving Crazy with all the finishing up. Like most of the Smashers, Crazy preferred making the mess as opposed to tidying. But he knew if he didn't, his brother would suspend his pudding privileges. Besides, the quicker he got it done, the sooner he could go back to the more important things, like teaching Mr. Flipper's tricks. So he patched up Luigi and Yoshi, powered down all the equipment, reset the stage, removed the film from the cameras, fed Mr. Flippers, issued free passes to all the Smashers, edited the footage, paid the telephone bills. He'd have to talk to Princess Peach about that. Sent the footage to the studios. Not sure why that was written twice. Applied to the Nintendo company for 7 new characters for the next tourney, dusted the crops and took out the trash. Now having completed his chores and giving the others the day off, Crazy was finally able to relax, or so he thought. Mr. Flippers, where are you? Come on out, girl, called the worried Hand. His searches eventually took him down below Smash Manor, into his brother's top-secret lab. There wasn't anything special in the lab, apart from Master Hand's experimental interdimensional rift portal thingy, a device he had created for...
A rift portal thingy?
Literally interdimensional rift portal thingy.
That's the best line ever.
Yeah.
Science.
I wish, like, scientific projects would be more cavalier about their naming.
We have the Space Force thingy now.
Or not even that, where it's just like, like Project X or like Operation, something. Like, I wish they would be more like Operation Try and Make This Thing Work or something like that.
I'm going to get that tattooed on me.
Project Do Stuff Correctly. Shit like that.
I'm gonna have a giant folder on my desk, just like organize my life and stuff.
Yeah. Project Organize My Life and stuff. A device he had created for reaching into the many alternate versions of Earth to select the finest warriors for Super Smash Bros. Well, when he got it working anyway. Then he wouldn't have to pay Nintendo for new fighters and could get Smashers by himself. There you are, Mr. Flippers, you naughty girl, exclaimed Crazy as he found his pet seal. Of course, coming quietly would just be too simple for Mr. Flippers, who began to rush around the lab. Surprisingly quick for a water-based animal. After setting the appropriate backing track, Benny Hill naturally, Crazy Hand gave chase, resulting in numerous apparatuses being destroyed, and the experimental interdimensional rift portal thingy was accidentally activated. Upon seeing this, Crazy Hand stopped chasing his pet and looked at the device. Oh, that probably shouldn't be active. I better just turn it off just to be safe. Mr. Flippers! Get that Bunsen burner out of your mouth. You don't know where my brother got it from. Get over here. Distracted once again by the seal, Crazy forgot all about the machine and left it running. And that is the end of part 1. Do you see where we're going with this yet?
I do, and it's like, I'm curious how it's going to go, just because it's written, like, I don't know if they purposely did it because of, like, the type of game it is. It's written so childlike and whimsical.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to know, like, what it's like when the Mortal Kombat people show up.
I mean, you'll get to find out. We're going to read part 2.
Oh, yeah.
What's funny to me is that the MacGuffin for this entire story is something that, like, why do they have a pet seal? There's literally no reason for a pet. You'd think if he's called Crazy Hand, he would accidentally turn on the device or something.
That is the pet seal in the game?
No, not at all.
Wait, I thought that was like a universe. So they just added that he has a pet seal.
They just added that it has a pet seal.
Well, I don't know if like I just missed it or something. It took me a second to realize it was a seal.
Yeah.
I thought it was a dog named Flippers, but then it's like water, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, it said like pet seal, like at the beginning, like Mr. Flippers, his pet seal, or something like that. It could have been a thing where like because we're going through this through Skype, it could have like glitched out for a second.
I was like, I want more Kirby though with my Super Smash Brothers. I mean, I hope Kirby gets involved with some of the Mortal Kombat people because I think that would just be.
What, instead of fatality, it's a copyality or something?
Yeah, or doesn't Kirby like suck? Like, isn't that their thing? Like, because in the game, don't they like suck things, like suck all the air in the?
Yeah, so he can like suck up other characters and then copy their abilities when he spits them out.
Well, what if Kirby's fatality was like they suck it and then like they just shoot out all their bones? Like they go inside Kirby and they come out and they're just bones.
That's like oddly perfect. Because like in Smash Bros, when if he spits someone out without copying them, they just kind of get spat out. But you could very easily just turn that into his digestive system and then spit out the bones. Fatality.
Well, who else would have a good fatality? I mean, I think Mario would just like shove them in a giant toilet, maybe.
Maybe. You don't really see them being plumbers all that often.
Well, it could just be like a cover. Like, I don't know, because they must have, because they go on these adventures all the time. Who's running the business?
I'm not sure. I never saw the Super Mario Bros. Movie. I assume they tried to make it with some modicum of realism, but.
Oh yeah, that movie's old, isn't it? Like, because I remember watching that when I was a kid.
Yeah, it's like 30 years old, 20-something years old.
Time flies, but like, yeah, I mean, they were plumbers in there, and I think Bowser was like a sewer monster.
Yeah.
Bowser would have a good fatality, but I feel like he'd be like Hobby and Scorpion, where it's like he just burns them.
Yeah, makes sense. Like, trying to think of, well, like most of the just moves that a lot of these Super Smash Bros. Characters have would make a perfect fatality, like just Falcon Punch. Like, it's all fire. I feel like that just takes care of it pretty easily.
Yeah, or who's the one that looks like an astronaut, but they're actually a female, I think.
Samus?
Yeah, they would probably have a good fatality. Like they like if they were gonna put anyone in Mortal Kombat, I think Samus or Samsung or
Samsung.
like I think they would be the best for Mortal Kombat.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, especially because like there's Samus and then there's Zero Suit Samus, which is when the armor comes off her, and she's like in this kind of jumpsuit with this electro whip, and that happens after Samus does her final smash, and the armor falls off because of all the like, you know, giant laser beam that covers half the screen. So that could just easily be the fatality. Just huge laser beam kills whoever is in its path, and then the armor falls off.
Yeah,
Like, fatality.
I give so much props to Nintendo though. I feel like Samus was one of the first like female video game characters that doesn't have like the obnoxious like rack.
Yeah.
Where it's like there's no way that's tactical. Like you can't fight with that.
Definitely.
Like,
well, because like you don't even know that Samus is a girl until like because apparently you had to beat the first Metroid game in like a certain amount of time to even find out that Samus was a girl. Because like if you beat it in like over that amount of time, it's just the person in the armor. But if you beat it in under that amount of time, she takes off the armor, and then you know it's a woman. So it's just kind of neat that like that was an Easter egg, and then however many decades later, people are like, yeah, it's a girl. It's just how it is.
well, I hope like when the worlds combine between Mortal Kombat, like maybe they'll start to look more Mortal Kombat-y.
Well, like larger muscles and like more jagged, like.
And they'll just be fighting like people with swords, but they don't have shirts on.
Mm-hmm.
Like which I never got. Like Liu Kang, like no armor, just going into battle with people with like swords, shooting fire, just doesn't wear a shirt. Whatever, it's fine.
Is it weird that sometimes I'll like mistake Street Fighter characters for Mortal Kombat characters and vice versa?
Um, no, because I think some of them are similar. Like Liu Kang is very similar to like Ryu. Is that the main guy?
Yeah, Ryu.
Yeah, they're both like Asian, black hair, bulging muscles, don't wear a shirt, and borderline Bruce Lee ripoffs. I think.
Yeah, like Ryu is also coincidentally in Super Smash Bros. So,
I can see Tekken and Street Fighter more so than Mortal Kombat.
Tekken. I never played Tekken. I feel like that was a little before my time, at least like Tekken in its heyday. Because I was born in '94, so.
So was I. I played Tekken.
Like I said, it took a while to get into video games because I had to like wear them down. The only other video game I had before that was the original Backyard Baseball on PC. Come on, that game was super fun, and
It was. My boyfriend recently told me that like I reminded him of like the one girl character in it the other day. It was like, oh yeah, because I've always liked tomboys, and I was like, oh.
There's lots of girl characters in Backyard Baseball, like half
it's
of
like,
them.
Where's like the shirt with like the other shirt over it? She's got like red hair or something.
Stephanie Morgan, maybe? The one who would like blow up bubbles while she was at the plate. Stephanie Morgan, yeah, I could see it.
I was just like, oh, okay, I'm a tomboy.
All right, let's get into part 2. A white-haired man sat in an ancient shrine meditating. Raiden, thunder god and protector of Earthrealm, was finally able to get, quote, a little chill time, as Jax called it. After battling hordes of demons and the occasional elemental warlock, concentrating his inner energy, he inhaled and exhaled, establishing a pattern. Clearing his mind and sharpening his senses, he took in the environment around him, the trickling waterfall in the courtyard, the leaves falling from the trees, floating gently down to land on the steps, the slow, deliberate, and almost imperceptible footsteps approaching. All of a sudden, his eyes snapped open, and he leapt to his feet. He hurled a lightning bolt and grimly watched as the demon foot soldier vanished in a puff of smoke. On cue, at least 12 more demons revealed themselves, ready for a fight. Okay, I don't know what voice to give Raiden, because I have no idea what he sounds like.
I'm trying to think. Kind of like Batman, I guess.
So like Nolan's Batman, or
oh yeah, like a little bit.
All right, let's do Nolan's Batman. You know, I don't ever recall inviting you here, brother. So, I'm like bordering on Hulk Hogan. Sorry.
Wait, did he actually say brother?
Yes. You know, I don't recall ever inviting you here, brother, said Raiden. Yeah, brother. It's like that thing where you need to convey exposition, but you have to say it in like the most stilted, awkward way possible. Where it's like, I don't know what we're arguing about, sis. I'm like, nobody would ever say that.
So it's like shadow demons. So, like, I guess like it has to be like Shao Kahn and stuff, but like Raiden's like a god. He would not talk like that. Like he'd be like, "Hey, listen here, brother."
Yeah. A tall man dressed in battle armor with thorn-like protrusions, a scarlet flowing cape, and skull-shaped mask stepped forward. Ha! You're no brother of mine, spineless coward, sneered Shao Kahn. You have been a thorn in my side long enough, but I finally have the means to defeat you. You should know better than to think you can end me, Kahn. You may strike down this mortal body, but I will still live on to fight you again and again. Shao Kahn laughed. Who said anything about destroying you? After all of my failed attempts to obliterate you, I thought I'd try enslaving you instead. You and your precious Earth Realm warriors. Raiden's eyes widened as he realized that what his enemy was planning. But before he could move to attack Kahn, a heavy weight dropped on top of him and pinned him to the floor. Raiden looked up and saw the sorcerer, what is that, Quan Chi?
Shang Tsung.
What?
Was it Quan Chi or Shang Tsung?
Quan Chi.
Oh, Quan Chi. Oh.
Quan Chi. Who shuddered, convulsed, and staggered back. Raiden got up, only to be blindsided by a light arrow from Shao Kahn. He was forced down by a withering barrage of blows from the demon soldiers, who had taken advantage of his distraction and overwhelmed him. Quan Chi picked himself up off the ground, walking over to the protector of Earth Realm and placed a hand on his forehead. You're getting slow, the wizard remarked dryly. That wasn't very accommodating of you. I cannot guarantee this process will be painless. Raiden began to writhe in agony as Quan Chi began to convert his mind. I've been waiting to try this mind control technique for a long time, grunted the sorcerer, who was still being met by some mental resistance, but not for long. Raiden slumped and was released. Excellent, my faithful ally, said Shao Kahn. Quan Chi barely nodded and leaned against a wall, trying to stay on his feet despite the drain on his powers.
What? Okay, I'm going to call some BS right now.
Yeah?
Quan Chi never worked for Shao Kahn. Ever. They did not work together. Shao Kahn runs Outworld, and then Quan Chi serves Shinnok, who are more associated with, like, the Nether Realm. So unless this is some, like, Deadly Alliance type stuff, those two are typically at odds and fighting each other. So it's weird that they team them up, but okay.
It's not like a common enemy type thing where they both hate Raiden, or...
They both hate Raiden, but, like, I'm surprised they didn't, like, have Shang Tsung doing it, because Shang Tsung's more associated with, like, stealing people's souls, making them do things. And that sorcerer actually does work for Shao Kahn, but...
The names are so hard to keep track of. I'm sorry. It's like,
oh my! I feel like my nerdiness just came out.
Well, no, it's not that. No, I've done like exactly that same type of nerdiness for other stuff, and like when you're in the thick of it, you're like, how can you not understand that? They're all, but like it's weird being on the outside of like a nerd thing, which happens a lot on this show, where like the person will bring up or like ask for an IP that I know nothing about. And then it's this like weird kind of scramble for research where I'm like, okay, how much can I find out and retain by the time I get into this episode, and most of the time nothing sticks.
I'm wondering, like, they're gonna brainwash Raiden.
Maybe.
Oh my goodness. When was this written?
This was written, looks like 2009, August 16th, 2009.
That is kind of funny though, because like Quan Chi typically works for Shinnok, and Shinnok is like the devil character, whatever. He's like the bad god,
Yeah.
and like Raiden kills Shinnok, or can't kill him because you can't kill a god, but like beheads him and takes Shinnok's amulet. But then Raiden becomes corrupted and actually does kind of turn evil due to like mind control from the amulet. So that's actually kind of funny because it actually does kind of happen in the game like 10 years later.
Oh, okay. How often does Mortal Kombat come out with like new installments? Like every 2-3 years or so?
Every about 3 to 4 years. Sometimes there's a bigger gap, but
because I know with Smash Bros, it's like about every 4 or 5 years, give or take some.
Yeah, so I mean, looking at the time, I think 2008, 2009. You said, so this might have been before Armageddon, after Deadly Alliance, so that could make sense why Shao Kahn's working with Quan Chi.
Makes sense. So it could be a case of that thing where like because some of the other stuff wasn't introduced yet, like it doesn't make sense with the canon.
Yeah, a little bit, or just like the time, because like I could see why they didn't use Shang Tsung now, because that would just have been a total ripoff of Deadly Alliance. So,
well, it's also a case of like it's fan fiction; you can do whatever you want.
True, it is fan fiction. Maybe I hope one of them gets a sealed head. I'm just saying.
Mr. Flippers comes back to save the day.
No. It's actually Mr. Flippers has actually been Quan Chi this entire time.
Let's see. I lost my place here. Okay. Excuse my faithful ally, said Shao Kahn. Quan Chi barely. Oh no, wait. Despite the drain, Raiden was on his knees in reverent submission. You, mighty destroyer. In the Earth Realm province known as China, there was a certain tranquility surrounding one of the northern Shaolin temples. While most of the monks were inside, sheltering from the rain, Liu Kang, champion of Earth Realm, was still training inside. Being the warrior that he was trying to perfect his fighting styles. At the moment, he was focusing on his dragon form. His hardened forearms struck training dummy with precision and power, generated from his feet. Wait. His forearms struck the training dummy from his feet? Is it like a lift with your legs, not with your back thing, but for your forearm punches?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. This is fan fiction, so.
Yeah, but that's like that doesn't even make sense, like human anatomy wise.
Well, I think a little bit, because I think like when you go to punch someone, you know, a lot of times like boxers, like they're always like, oh, the footwork, you know.
Oh
like,
yeah, maybe.
So maybe like but like also his dragon form, like I don't know if they just mean like actual like ha ha, or like because he actually does turn into a dragon.
Oh.
So maybe like that's what they mean by his dragon form, like he's like his muscles are bulging because they have animalities too, where he turns into a dragon.
Oh, okay. Is animality when you kill someone while in animal form?
Yeah, they only did it in like the earlier games. I think they brought it back, but yeah, like his was like he would turn into a dragon and like eat them basically. Mm-hmm. And in the movie, he turns into a dragon at the end too. I think the second movie.
I know that they have babe-alities where it like turns them into a baby, and fatalities. That's all I know.
They had animalities briefly.
And it's just them being like, hey, you know, these Animorphs books are pretty cool. We're going to try that.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, like when we brought Nightwolf in, he was big on the animalities. And in the movie, like, Nightwolf, like, is like Nightwolf, like, being the trans woman that she is, like, turns herself into a woman. to try to seduce Liu Kang.
Mm-hmm.
And then Liu Kang rejects her in his spirit dream, the Native American fever dream or whatever. And then Nightwolf's just like, oh, you passed the test. You are a truly loyal warrior. And then Liu Kang gets the ability to turn into animals.
Okay. The Mortal Kombat universe really does come off as fanfic by itself.
Yes.
Let's see. He paused for a moment, breathing heavily when he was tackled from behind. Liu managed to roll with the impact and then got his legs up, flipping his attacker off of him. The warrior jumped up and took a look at the intruder. It was none other than the mutant Baraka. What's up with Baraka?
Oh my god, Baraka. He was my favorite. He was like one of the favorites. Because like he's the dude with the sword arms.
Oh, it's like a Wolverine type thing, right? Where it can like
just giant sword. He's got fangs, and like he's Tarkatan. And Melina, my favorite character, like she has an affair with Baraka, because like she's half Tarkatan. That's why she always wears the mask, because like she looks like this pretty woman because she's Katana's like sister, but she was made from like Tarkatan blood. So like the lower half of her face is like his, where it's just fangs.
Oh, but like if they're having an affair and Baraka has swords for arms, I feel like that's going to be like a problem with foreplay.
Oh,
at the least,
or the best foreplay.
Like, okay, I can understand maybe there's like a kink to it, but like physically having swords for arms with no thumbs or anything. I feel like that would be kind of a problem where like you can't really, curve or.
Well, he can like retract them and like because his come out of there, so like he could like be going in and then like hit, like just propel into that G spot real quick.
Propel into that G spot real quick. It's I need to get that on a T-shirt or something. Just be like a helicopter with vibrators for rotor blades. Propel into that G spot real quick.
But what's that one? I should know it because I'm young. But like, what is it like? Rule 34 or whatever, where like there's a porno of everything.
Yeah, Rule 34. If it exists, there is porn of it.
Because I'm wondering now, is there a Mortal Kombat where he like instead of swords, like he actually does have like giant like dildos?
I mean, some of the stories that I skipped over to get to this one were pretty like smutty. Nothing with Baraka and retractable sword dicks, but there was some stuff out there. Go on fanfiction.net, look up Mortal Kombat, and be amazed. Listeners, be amazed.
I'll lock myself in my room for a couple days.
Let's see. Baraka said nothing but lunged again, blades extended, but Liu Kang moved aside quickly and aimed a roundhouse kick at the Tarkatan's head. The mutant staggered back and snarled, launching himself into the air. Liu Kang hit his adversary again with a flying kick to the chest, following up with a cartwheel kick. A familiar sound from being alerted from behind alerted him to a new danger, and whipped himself sideways just in time to avoid a nasty-looking kunai attached to a rope, the bloody spear attack of Scorpion. Liu turned to see the Spectre already having retrieved his weapon. "Hello, mortal," hissed Scorpion before vanishing and reappearing instantaneously, directly above the monk, preparing his Hellfire Punch, only to be sent flying by a purple bolt of energy. Jax grinned at his friend and waved a bionic arm in his direction. "Saved your ass, homeboy," he drawled.
Oh my god! They put homeboy.
Yeah.
Oh, that is perfect.
Yeah, they put homeboy in there. And I'm probably the whitest person in the universe to be reading the word homeboy, so enjoy that. Black Lives Matter, all cops are bastards, all that good stuff.
Except Jack.
Yeah. Let's see. So So nice of you to join me, Lou dryly remarked the Afro-American.
We did, instead of putting Jack's remarks, they put remarks the African American.
Not African American, Afro-American. I am literally reading the story exactly as I am seeing it. Oh so, is that some bad rating or what? Roll credits? No. So yeah, probably the cringiest thing I've read in a while.
Not even like remarks like the. I mean, I forget. He's like a high level military officer. Like remarks the military sergeant. Remarks. There's so many other things they could put. Like remarks the big guy with giant metal arms.
Yeah, it's that thing where when you're learning to write in like 4th or 5th grade, like write a story, and your teacher's like, "Don't do says the person's name over and over. It's redundant." So they're like, things that describe him. Fuck, says the. Do we do color of his skin? Yeah, let's go color of his skin. That's good. Like,
goodness.
Yeah, but like you can just like see it in them, and that's like something that happens a lot in these fanfics. Is the person either does too much in describing who's talking, or their voices aren't distinctive enough, so you don't know who's talking.
Well, I mean, judging by what this person has written so far, I feel like if they were to make the voice very distinctive, it would just go a complete other direction.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't even have to be voices in, like, spelling it differently or whatever. Just the thing, like, the way the person talks with the words they use. It's hard to do in a fight scene when there's, like, you're not going to be there spouting long lines of dialogue.
Yeah, I mean, Jack's being the cop he is. He was like, he's always like the TV cops, you know, where it's like John Mulaney has this joke or whatever, where it's like the cops walk around a dead teacher and they're just like,
school's out.
Like Jax does that. So
what? Just that kind of like Ice Cube, or not Ice Cube, Ice-T on what am I thinking of? Law and Order SVU.
Yeah, he comes up with the corniest like lines ever. Like I forget in the game. I think the 2 cyborgs. And the one's red and the one's yellow. He just walks in. He's like, "Well, it looks like it's time for ketchup and mustard."
Yeah. Don't know where it comes from. Let's see. Hey, you know, I hate getting wet, replied Jax, indicating the raincoat he was wearing. You good? You all right?
Oh my God. That line was perfect. that encompassed the character right there. Yeah, oh my God. Yeah, I mean, Mortal Kombat costumes were actually really popular this year, I think, just because of the mask factor.
Oh. Did you dress up this year for Halloween?
No, and it like upset me so much. Because, like I said, I'm obsessed with Melina.
Yeah.
If you're like bored later, go look up Melina Halloween costumes.
Okay.
You have to look a certain way to be able to wear any of them. And I went on a diet. I lost so much weight. I was like, yep, I'm gonna be able to wear it this year. And
then, well, if you can make it another year, then you can pull off the Melina costume. I mean, I was gonna dress up originally as Fat Thor, but I realized I wasn't going anywhere. So what I did instead was I printed out. This is for the YouTube people. I printed out this sign. So for those who are listening, it says 404 error. Costume not found due to virus. And then stuck it to my t-shirt. And I just did that for the gram for the most part. But I don't know. I found it like kind of annoying because like I like dressing up. Last year I dressed up as Syndrome from The Incredibles, which was a fun costume. Although the whole thing like is crotch crunching, to say the least.
Oh, you're entering my world then.
Yeah.
If I think.
No, but it was the kind of thing where you could see the out. Like I had man camel toe, basically. So like I wore the costume to work originally because you're allowed to wear costumes to work, and they were like, I was like, oh fuck, you can see everything. Yeah, I'm just gonna put this towel over my lap for the entirety of the day. Great, cool, thanks.
Yeah, I've always wondered, how do guys like, well, I should know, but like how do guys like hide, like, because I see some guys wear like the Green Man costume or something, like, is it Slender Man, is that what they call it?
Well, there's like the green like jumpsuit, so you can like run around in front of a green screen and not get seen. I'm not entirely sure. I know Slender Man is like a suit with the claws, like the large claw things coming off the top. And then I'm
when they wear those like superhero suits, like how do they hide their packages? Because I've always wondered.
Well,
I post on Facebook, like, do they actually like go full on and like talk?
I think it depends. Normally, like for stuff like that, it's supposed to be loose enough where you don't need to tuck, and it's just a bulge. It's kind of understood with superhero costumes that there's going to be at least some amount of bulge, but that Syndrome costume was like grabbing my dick and balls and being like, ah!
It was jamming. It was like extending right into that G spot.
Kind of. No, it was like it cut off blood flow to my junk. Yeah. So, hooray for Syndrome costume, I guess. What's the best Halloween costume you ever had?
Oh my goodness. Let me think. I'm pretty lazy, so a lot of times I'm just a zombie. Like, it's like where it's like the bear, because normally I'm just like, I'm gonna get dressed up, it's gonna be this big thing, and then I work that day, and then I have like 2 minutes to get ready.
Right.
So it's like just dark eyeshadow, some smear some face paint, and I'll put like bruises on me, and then just dress like a hooker. When I was growing up as a little boy, I did Scorpion like 4 years in a row.
There you go. That's completely understandable why you chose Mortal Kombat then.
Oh yeah. Mortal Kombat. I used to collect the action figures. Like,
that's pretty dope. Yeah, it's really hard because like I'm trying to find that perfect balance between costume that's like visually impressive and costume that's not a pain in the ass to wear after 5 minutes.
Yeah,
it's really hard to get like right in the middle there.
It's a hard balance. Especially like as a woman, I feel like a lot of our costumes, like you kind of almost have to make your own as a woman if you don't want to go super, super like provocative.
Yeah.
Which is uncomfortable, especially because I live in Ohio. October is typically cold.
Mm-hmm.
And also the amount of duct tape I need to use to fit into like any woman costume is like insane. So I've been finding I've been having to go to like Goodwill or I just have to do the cloak witch hat combo.
That's always a classic though. That's like your third grade teacher on Halloween. Like, I'm dressing up in the classroom with the kids. Here's a bowl of candy. We're gonna watch a movie.
That's the ideal. That's my aesthetic now.
What, third grade teacher on Halloween?
Third grade teacher in general. I wore like a sweater vest the other day. Like, I have no shame anymore.
No, I've like I realize I'm slowly starting to dress like my dad as time goes on, where I'm like getting those like the darker, more conservative looking sweaters. I don't wear a lot of t-shirts with stuff on them anymore. It's just like the plain color. Or the alumni t-shirt from the college I went to. Every dad has to have one of those.
Yeah, it's getting old sucks. Like, I feel like, because we're the same age, right? We're both born in '94.
Yeah.
So, it's when you hit, I think after 25, you just start noticing the old tendencies coming. Mm-hmm. Like, it's that line where you're no longer in your early 20s.
You're just in your mid-20s. And we've officially gone out of that golden 18 to 25 demographic where just 20-somethings now.
Yep, it's sad. Like the other day, someone said I look like I would be a good mom.
Damn, that's rough.
That's how you know it's coming.
And what's worse is when that goes from like being offensive to being a compliment, and there will be a point there at some point.
Yeah. I mean, I always take it as a compliment because I'm like, oh my God, you think I look like I can bear children? That's great.
Oh my God. I cannot wait until we're just like, not like made fun of less for being young, where you're just like, oh, you're just a dude now. You're not like some kid. Which, honestly, I can mostly thank the beard for that, because with the beard, it's, we have a table right here for you, sir. Without the beard, it's, may I see your ID? So, baby faces unite. All right, let's finish this thing up. Raiden, damn, it's good to see you, man. We could really use your help. The Thunder God turned to look at Jax. Jax, I think something's wrong, cautioned Lou. A lightning bolt sizzled out and hit Jax in the chest, taking him out of the fight. Jax, exclaimed Lou, narrowly avoiding getting struck himself. Raiden, what are you doing? I'm afraid your beloved Thunder God isn't feeling himself right now. Shao Kahn replied as the demons surrounded the Earthrealm warrior. Surrender yourself now, mortal, and you shall be spared great pain. I'm not scared of a little pain, Lou said defiantly. You can torture me all you like, but I won't go down without a fight. Oh, I think you will. When I said pain, I did not mean the physical kind. If you do not surrender, I will have my so-called brother here destroy the temple. The blood of all those monks will be on your hands. To demonstrate his point, he signaled to Raiden, who flew up over the temple and began summoning a powerful electrical storm. Liu Kang's sense of honor and his warrior's spirit were strong, but there was no way he could willingly endanger innocent lives. The monks, who only provided him with accommodation while he trained, had nothing to do with this fight, leaving him with no course of action but to surrender. Very well, I'll yield. Yes, I thought you might, said Shao Kahn as Kun Shi sidled up to Liu Kang and placed his hand on Liu's forehead, repeating the process as he had used to convert Raiden. Kun Shi eagerly watched as his master inspected the row of freshly converted soldiers. Where once they had all been proud and noble warriors, they were now totally subservient to Shao Kahn. Johnny Cage, Sonya, Sub-Zero, Jax, Shang Tsung, Liu Kang, Kano, and of course Raiden. Even though Scorpion was already under his employ, Kahn had a right-hand man put him under, just to be safe. If these 9 were successful, he could then gain control of every Mortal Kombat contestant and anyone else he saw fit. Excellent work, my faithful aide, said Kahn, a rare compliment from the Conqueror. I may not have been able to destroy these thorns in my side, but my total control over them makes up for a far greater victory. What now, master? As they talked, there was a sudden golden flash of light and a strange sound, not unlike a jet turbine. A portal had mysteriously opened before them. A gateway to another universe. How incredibly convenient. It appears that an opportunity to test my new acolytes has revealed themselves. He had turned to address the 9. I am curious as to what beings inhabit this place. Go into this new world and bring me back some specimens. Use whatever means necessary, but I want them alive. Perhaps he would be able to add these creatures to his army as well. The warriors said nothing, turned and marched single file through the portal. Kun Chi, I want you to go with them. Make sure that they follow their orders. If not, find a way to trap them in that dimension and return here. Yes, my lord. The wizard bowed and stepped toward the portal. And that is the end of Chapter 2, and unfortunately, the end of this story.
Oh my goodness. There's so much tension. I'm going to have to go read that.
There is no Chapter 3.
What?
Yeah. The guy who wrote Barrington never wrote a Chapter 3.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, you had 2 chapters of just setup.
Yeah.
And no payoff.
Yeah. Well,
I feel like I have blue balls now.
Welcome to Bad Rating Blue Balls Edition. Yeah, I don't usually pick the story where there's like no good ending, but I thought it would be funnier this way. So sorry.
Well, I'm just gonna imagine what happens now.
Yeah, this is usually the part where I would say, "How would you punch up this story?" But because we don't know the ending, what would you do? Like, we now have the two forces heading toward each other from Smash Bros. And Mortal Kombat.
Here's what's gonna happen. I'm not super familiar with Smash Brothers, so I'll only be talking about a few of the characters in the seal. But I think so they're gonna get to like the Smash Brothers mansion or whatever, and then like the crazy hand or whatever is going to be like, we'll come with you, but only if you can defeat us in Smash Brothers or whatever. And then like do a tournament, and then but then mention like change or whatever, the mind control is going to wear off, and then the forces of Earthrealm are going to realize that it's been they that they've been mind controlled, and then Quan Chi is going to have to try to trap them in the dimension, but then it's all going to fail, and then Mario, Luigi, the other ones, the seal, and are all going to come back to the Mortal Kombat universe to try to defeat Shao Kahn.
That's a good idea, I think. I like the idea of Smash Bros. The goal is to knock your opponent off the stage, and Mortal Kombat it's like a health bar. So it would be interesting to see the two different universes fighting against each other where they have different goals. Where it's going to be like Mario throws Sub-Zero off the stage, and then he's like, all right, I won, and then Sub-Zero comes back, he's like, bitch, I'm not dead. You still got health bar, so I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, I think Baraka is going to kill Kirby, though. Stab him, because his finishing move is he stabs him, and then he does this, and chops them up into pieces, so I think that's going to happen to Kirby. I think Luigi and Mario are going to tag team Jax. But then Jax is going to fight them off. Because I feel like the Mortal Kombat characters would definitely almost kill the Smash Brothers characters.
Definitely.
Except Sam. They seem like they could fight.
Yeah, because I feel like the various bladed weapons wouldn't really do much against the armor.
Yeah, so I think the Mortal Kombat characters are a little bit tougher. And then Mr. Hand's going to be like, oh no, Mr. Hand! Or then what if the Wise Hand? Is that the other one?
It's Master Hand and Crazy Hand.
I think Master Hand's going to come back, and he's going to be like, well, I just left for 2 hours, and this is going on. He's going to see all the bloody bodies. And Crazy Hand's going to be like, well, I don't know.
It's going to be like, I remember when I was you know how your mom leaves and you're like, all right, I can start goofing off. And then they come back 5 minutes later. Oh, forgot my purse. What?
Yeah.
I realized growing up that my mom would always forget something. So I would always wait for the second time after she left to start goofing off.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. He's going to come back. But back to what we were talking about earlier with the old thing, I notice I do that now.
What, where you forget stuff?
Oh, I will leave the house and I'll be like, I didn't grab my wallet.
Yeah, or this is the big one, the mask. Where you're halfway to the store. Fuck, I forgot my mask.
I keep 3 masks in my car now at all times, just in case.
It's a good idea. I remember one time I was going somewhere, I forgot my mask. It was no mask, no service. I was wearing a hoodie and a t-shirt, so I took the t-shirt off and tied it around my head as a mask, and then just zipped up the hoodie. It worked, so that was good. Anyway, thank you so much for coming on the show, Alexa. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
Where can people find you out there? Follow you on social media and all that good stuff.
Well, people can follow me on Instagram at Alexa Irizarry. That's Irivarry comedy on Instagram. And you can follow me with the same thing on Twitter or on YouTube too.
Okay.
Twitter, follow me Jasmine Steele 7.
Like the word Jasmine, the word Steele, and the number 7.
Yeah, I spell Steele Steele.
Ooh, not Jasmine Steele, Jasmine Steele.
Yep, and then you can hear all about my wonderful time working in adult film in Vegas.
Ooh, that sounds interesting. Fuck, I should have. I wish you had brought that up. That would have been interesting.
Oh yeah, I used to do porn when I was younger.
It's
So if you're into that, my non-comedy stuff, go to Twitter. If you want my comedy stuff, go to Instagram and YouTube.
Yeah, that's the second comedian I know who's done porn. So, but yeah, you can find me at Atlas Novak, Twitter, Instagram, or you can find this show at Bad Reading Pod in the same places. Thanks everybody for listening. We'll see you on next time on maybe fascism. Who knows? Wash your freaking hands and have a good night.